Hi there. Hi, it's Coach K, and I'm refreshing my page here so that I can share this out on my personal page. I prefer to do these videos on my business page, but also want to share on my personal page for people who are following me over there. So let me do that very briefly and get that there. And then I want to talk to you guys about stress. Make sure that you can see me. Yeah, okay. So I want to talk to you guys about stress. Now, there was something different that I wanted to share today, but in light of everything that's going on in Houston and so many people are concerned, I first want to tell you guys and confess that, hey Del, want to confess that I'm behind. I cut my cable off months ago, so I only watch stuff on demand now. If I don't see it on Facebook, I don't know it. And I saw certain things on there, but not really, the severity of it has just come to my attention. And so I thought it would be good to talk about stress, because in my coaching with clients, stress has such a huge impact on people. You know, people will start off like super gung-ho about their health, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. But then stress comes in, and, you know, suddenly they fall apart, right? As if we don't know stress is going to come. So I want to share with you guys some ways that you can manage your stress. But more importantly, I want you to know why stress is so dangerous. Now, we all know stress is bad for you. You know, we know that it's not good for your health to you know, be under a lot of stress. But I want to make sure that I seal it in your brain why it's so critical. So certain things happen in the body that are good initially, but chronically over time is where we have a problem. So have you ever been in the car and maybe someone almost rear-ended you, or you almost hit someone else, and you felt that rush, right? You know, in your body. I think it's the bile building in the stomach and your system and the nervousness and everything. You feel that initially, that panic and the shortness of breath, and then you calm down and you're over it. So that's a natural response of the body. You know, your heart's pumping faster, and it's okay when it happens every now and then, but chronically over time, your increased heart rate causes your blood vessels to constrict, and that raises your blood pressure. And people with blood pressure issues already know that stress is a huge part of it. You could take all the salt out of your diet. You could eat kale all day long, but if you don't manage the stress in your life, you're still going to be susceptible to a ton of things. Stress affects your immune system over time. You know, initially when you're under a lot of stress, your immune system will ramp up to support that. But with the chronic stress, it basically taps out, and you end up more susceptible to disease, illness, and all kinds of things. So, you know, it's very important that you think about, you know, the stressors and things that are in your life, even in terms of diseases like diabetes. Stress can cause your liver when you're under stress, your liver produces extra blood sugar initially to give you energy to deal with the stress, right? But when that happens continuously over time, it will cause you to have elevated blood sugar. Again, you could eat kale all day long, but if you're not managing the stress in your life, you will still continue to have health challenges. And so people talk all the time about how they need to get their stress levels down, but what are you actually doing to reduce the stress in your life? So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I think you could do that work well for other people, and also some of the things that I do. Now, first of all, you need to go back and watch the video that I did yesterday. Whatever it is you choose to do, it needs to be done on purpose. I made a decision 2 years ago to live my life on purpose. And what that means is I don't just wander out into the day all the time anymore. I am intentional. My steps are purposeful. My steps are ordered. So therefore, it was easier for me once I adopted that initial mentality to put myself first, treat my health differently. And even though when I first changed my lifestyle, I entered one of the busiest seasons of my life at work. So it really would have been like the time where most people would say, I'm too busy to be concerned with my health right now. That was the season I found myself in, but I'd already made this commitment. And so I had to come up with ways to still be consistent in spite of the fact that I was exhausted. I was working like 12-hour days while I'm trying to learn all these new foods. And listen, I'm not judging you. Everybody is not capable of doing the same exact thing that I did. What I'm asking you to do is to stop making excuses, start making adjustments, and find out what will work for you, Dell, or whoever else is out there. All right, so a couple things that you can do. So when we think about stress, by the way, watching things like what's going on in Houston, that's stressful. And I'm not suggesting you tune it out, definitely not. But you do need to take breaks, y'all. Some of y'all, when these things happen, like, horrible 9/11 happened, some of the major tragedies we've suffered, just glued to CNN all day and all night. I know somebody who watches the news and these crime shows like continuously. That is stressful. There's nothing relaxing about it. So take a break. Don't just keep absorbing all this bad news. Do what you can. So if it's bothering you bad enough to where you want to sit and watch it all day long, figure out how you can help. Is there a family you can find to help? I just shared on my personal page someone who really needs help. That will counterbalance the stress. I'm stressed about what's happening, but I just helped somebody. So now my stress comes down a little bit. That's one way that you could manage it when you see things unfolding. And I suggest that you try to get whatever you're going to do as close to an actual person as possible. I think that, there are still a few nonprofits left that are great. I personally would donate to a nonprofit like ADRA. But if I could find someone to directly impact, that's what I would always choose to do, because there's just no guarantee that, where's it going to funnel to. So anyway, counteract the stress of the tragedies you watch by finding a way to help. All right. Another thing you can do, phone a friend. Call somebody, check on somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Maybe you unburden a little bit of your stress on them, but not a lot, because here's the other problem that we, especially women, have, is something stressful happens to us and we need to call at least 7 of our friends and repeat the story. I know what I'm talking about because this is what I used to do. I didn't have just one close friend. I had about 6. And every time something happened, whether it was an argument with my husband or something on the job, I got to retell it. We get like addicted to that. Retell it, retell it, retell it. And so I had to learn to stop that. Pick one person, maybe a person who's not going to just go deep into the pity party with you. Share it with them just to unload it, release it, let it go. Okay? Second, which really could be number 1, these are not in any particular order, is you really need to have a dedicated spiritual practice in your life. There's a reason why even in Alcoholics Anonymous, it's all based on dealing with a higher power, because it takes something greater than what's in you to be able to conquer a lot of the problems and situations that you face. And so if you don't have any type of spiritual practice in place, it's so much harder for you to battle stress. So an example would be, obviously prayer, is something that I incorporate. But even beyond that, or in addition to that, I use affirmations. And I'm not talking about hokey pokey stuff. I'm saying things that I say to myself when the words of doubt are already in my brain. I just replace it with something else. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I speak that out loud to myself. As I've gone through this transition into self-employment, I say all the time, hashtag write the vision and make it plain, that they may run and not faint. Surely it's coming. So these are things I say. I don't feel it, you guys. I just say it, and then I feel it, because I chose to step out and believe. So please, find a spiritual practice, some spiritual affirmations that you can use to alleviate the stress. It's not going to work the first time. Let me be real. This is coming from a person who has always been super negative, pessimistic my whole life. It's not going to work the first time. You're going to have to do it consistently over a sustained period of time, and you will notice a difference. All right. So stop watching sad things. Phone a friend. Develop a spiritual practice, affirmation system. Limit your exposure to stressful things. So let's talk about the workplace, okay? And this live I think should be brief because I'm almost done. But let's talk about the workplace is like a haven for stress. The workplace that I came out of was full of lots of negative people. At least they seemed negative to me because they didn't smile for like 5 days in a row, right? And just seemed very disgruntled. Limit your contact with people who are in a negative place in their life. Now, I'm not going to call them negative people because maybe this is just temporary. It's a season they're in. But you cannot just be around them all the time. You shouldn't be going to lunch with them. Why? Because you're going to end up negative, grumbling, complaining, stressed, just like them. And it's not going to take away your stress. It's going to add to it significantly. So keep your interactions with those folks down. I found a couple people who were kind of like-minded and pleasant to be around, and I started spending the majority of my time either by myself, headphones on, or I would go and hang out with them and talk and laugh or whatever. And what was funny is the people who were in a negative space, they were so irritated by us, they couldn't stand, and we'd be having a good time and laughing and stuff, and we still weren't necessarily happier on the job, but we weren't going to sit there and be miserable every day either, because that just compounds it. So please, 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 and if you are the negative person, or you are the person in the negative space, stay to yourself. Don't spray that toxic stuff out on everybody else. Stay to yourself, do your work, get to the root of why you're so miserable, and figure out what you can do to change it. I can help you with that. Why? Because I'm an expert, okay? I'm not Dr. Phil, but I know a thing or two about overcoming a negative spirit. It is not easy. It is very, very painful. But you can do it, and even though it doesn't feel like it because you got your guard up and you think that negativity is like your protection, it feels so much better to let that mess go. And I firmly believe that I would not have lost as much weight as I did if I still carried the same negativity around, y'all. I don't think God would have given it to me at all. So, and the other thing is, I want to remind you that in addition to having the spiritual practice to combat the stress, I love to repeat scriptures when I feel stressed. Like be anxious for nothing, but everything by prayer and supplication. Be anxious for nothing, Cara. I tell myself that all the time because I am one who's quick to rush into things and then be stressed out when it's not working out. Be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. And the final word I want to leave you guys with is, who by worrying can add a single day? Let me tell you guys something. This is a scripture that even atheists should be able to agree on. I don't care if you worship Jesus Christ, your ancestors, Muhammad, whoever it is. Who can change a single thing by worrying? I want you to make a decision today that you will make a list of your major stressors. So take a piece of paper, all right? And make a list of the things in your life that are stressing you out the most. Some of y'all are going to have your job on there. Some of you guys are going to have your husband on there or your wife. Some of you are going to have your children on there, your bills. All right. And don't get over. Now, what I don't want you to do is get stressed by the list that you just made. All right. What I want you to do instead is circle the things that you can affect change in. And let me give you a hint. You can actually change all of them by changing your mindset and your attitude towards those stressors. If you will shift your attitude towards the stressors and how you manage and deal with them, that will do 90% of the work. The 10% may be some tactical things that you need to do. Like I mentioned, avoiding the coworkers who are in a negative space. With your children. Some of you have grown children that you're enabling when you really shouldn't even be helping them like that anymore, and they're adding so much stress to your life. Give those kids to God. That's His job, to be concerned with them. Pray for them. Help them as led by the Spirit, not led by their manipulation, okay? that's another topic. I'm not going to get off into that. All right. But please know that I know what I'm talking about. I got kids from 6 to 23. So, and the third thing is with your spouse or partner or relationship you're in. First of all, if you're in a stressful relationship and you're not married, there's a very easy decision that you could choose to make. If you're in a marriage and your spouse is very stressful, you got to be consistent over time, and you can affect change. Again, I know what I'm speaking of. You can affect change in your marriage just by changing your attitude. And when your spouse, I used to do something real silly, you guys. Show you this, and then we're going to close this. And I am going to close this in prayer. So if anybody doesn't like prayer, that gives them time to go. When I would get into situations with my husband, especially in the car, we driving somewhere, we're lost, I would pull out my device and just get on and start doing something else to keep me from speaking, to keep my mouth shut. As wives, we just want to say so much all the time. And we are right most of the time. But nevertheless, they don't want to hear it. All right. So to keep your peace, y'all, find something else to do. Start journaling when you're out with other people who stress you out. And the last thing that I'll add to that is, if I said it was the last, this is definitely the last. If somebody didn't have anything to do with my income or my immediate family, I don't choose to go in those situations anymore when they're stressful for me. That is just how it is. I limit that a lot, and I'm not going to give specifics around that, but anybody that you are not required to be around because they don't live in your immediate home, they don't pay your bills, and God didn't specifically tell me to do it, I'm not going to subject myself to that level of stress. It's a choice. You waited a long time to be grown. Walk ye in it. Choose to do what serves you, not from a selfish place, but if you keep putting yourself in stressful circumstances, you're taking years off your own life. I gave you the proof at the beginning of the video. You're at an increased risk for diabetes. Your blood pressure is going to be higher. You're putting stress on your heart by constantly being, riled up. That's not good for your body. You can't eat enough kale to overcome that. All right. So I just want to leave you guys with that. I want you to be intentional about managing your stress, identifying it. Don't forget to do some homework and write down what those stressors are in your life and what things can you do in each one of those major areas of stress to bring that level down some, okay, and to manage that stress better so that it does not overtake you. Now, I don't want you to go and be too passive. There may be some things on there that you need to address, some conversations that you need to have, and that might be part of your work, all right? The biggest thing is, though, be intentional. It's not going to go away by itself. It's going to go away by you taking action to take charge of your health and life, all right? Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day, Father. We pray, first of all, for everyone in Houston, Lord, that's been affected by this tragedy. Any stress we feel, Father, surely pales in comparison to how some of these families feel. I ask you to show us all how we can help others, Lord, in different ways. We may think, well, I don't have money, but there may be another way that we can help. Show it to us, Father, and help each one of us to figure out what's the stress in our life and how we can combat it so that we can live in peace and joy and have a calm spirit, Lord. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Amen, everybody. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Nicole. I'm signing off, you guys. If you missed from the beginning, please go back and watch once this posts so that you can get these tools on keeping your stress levels down and why. All right. Bye.